What's good, people? What's good, YouTube? How's it going? How's it going? I'll try to make my thoughts on this quick because I'm gonna post some footage of both Kyrie Irving and Aaron Rodgers speaking for themselves at the end of this video, so you can hear it straight from them. But let's just get into the script. Kyrie Irving and Aaron Rodgers not succumbing, and yeah, Kyrie Irving and Aaron Rodgers are just not gonna succumb to the pressure to get the vaccine. Not gonna succumb to the vaccine mandates around here. Kyrie Irving, in my opinion, is about to be remembered by history like Muhammad Ali, or at least he should. And among basketball fans, he probably will be. And to me, it's all about freedom here, and you'll see what he says in his own words, but I just completely agree with where he's coming from. And honestly, I'm glad that the resistance to these insane vaccine mandates is growing and is now squarely in the public eye here. Sports, which is one of the last outlets for many men in this country for various reasons, is dealing with all these issues of personal sovereignty front and center. Honestly, I'm glad that the sports world has people like Kyrie Irving and Aaron Rodgers who are sticking to their own beliefs. Given that sports is a male-dominated space, I think we're going to start witnessing a turnaround in many thoughts and opinions regarding many things throughout our society. I think this is just the beginning. Like I said, there's going to be a correction, and each day I get more and more convinced that there will be a correction. It's just, where do you position yourself within that? Many men are gonna start having more confidence saying what they feel and sharing their own perspectives now. Whereas in the past, they may have been afraid, or they may have thought that it wouldn't matter even if they did say something and make their voice heard. Now they're gonna realize that, hey, maybe there's something I can do, or if anything, at least people will be almost forced in a way to, I don't want to say forced, but just because everybody's going to be too afraid to do basically almost anything new, I'm thinking, in these coming days. So new voices are going to be welcome because most people will be somewhat afraid to do and say what they want to do and say, if that makes sense. That's why I say try to position yourself in a way that you're able to say things, like say what you want to say, and that you're able to make mistakes, if that makes sense. I don't know if that fully makes sense, but I think it will make more and more sense in the coming weeks and years here. But okay, getting back to the script, the turnaround is going to be silent for the most part. See, that like last little bit that I spoke, I didn't even script that, but like the turnaround is going to be silent for the most part. I think that because a lot of people just aren't really going to talk about what's happening. If you are one of those people who is trying to talk about what's happening, I think there's like going to be good things for you in the future, but maybe that's just my own bias. But the turnaround is going to be silent for the most part. I'll say that much. So definitely be aware of that and make your moves accordingly. Like I kind of said a little bit over the past few minutes here. Kyrie Irving and Aaron Rodgers are at the risk of not being able to play in their respective leagues indefinitely. I think Aaron Rodgers he's going to be retested in 10 days or something like that, and then he might be eligible to play if he passes that. So I think the NFL may not be as harsh as the NBA, but also I know the NBA, it's not even necessarily the Nets who are banning Kyrie from playing in home games at least. It's the city of New York, because he plays for the Brooklyn Nets. So it's the city of New York that's stopping him from playing, which, like I said, this is bigger than sports. Or I don't know if I said that, but this is bigger than sports. Yeah. So I don't know if they're going to necessarily be unable to play in their respective leagues ever again. At least for Kyrie, I know it's indefinitely. For Aaron Rodgers, hopefully he passes that next test. But either way, just be thankful that these athletes are out on a limb like they are. And like opening themselves up to all types of criticism like they are. Both the NBA and the NFL have been losing viewership for the past several years, so honestly, they should be taking heed, in my opinion, but, you know, they're still multi-billion-dollar industries, and, you know, they got their own thing going on there. There's a lot of things broiling under the surface of society here, and sports may not be able to placate the masses as much as it once did. Bread and circuses, the gladiator games, the chariot races may not be able to placate the masses as much as they used to in previous decades, so let's kind of keep our eye on that. So alright, like that's basically it for me. I'm out now, and I'll leave you guys.
You know, first things first, this isn't about me, and it's not about me dispelling, what's being said about me particularly or for anybody. It's just saying, I'm standing with all those that, believe in what's right and are doing what's right for themselves. Everybody has a personal choice with their lives. Everybody has a right to feel a certain type of way. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions. Everybody's entitled to do what they feel is best for themselves, and putting me as a hero or painting me as a villain, sort of say, or going against the vaccine mandates, like that wasn't my intent at all. And to be sitting in this seat here and seeing, the way that this is dividing our world up, being vaccinated or being unvaccinated, it's just sad to see. It's creating a lot of division, a lot of confusion. A lot of people saying things that are untrue. We're not giving space for each other to speak. You got doctors out here working hard, physicians out here working hard, and everybody's trying to do what's best for them and their families, which I respect. And I'm always going to put that first. Everybody out there, it's not, listening to me or making this about me or painting this picture like, yo, I'm the voice of reason, so you should do this. Nah. Like, it's just about staying real and staying true to who you are and making the choice for you what's best. Everybody has their own family. Everybody has their own tribe. Everybody has their own issues or traumas that they're dealing with, trying to heal from. And I'm just trying to support as best I can. I'm a hooper. I've been a hooper since I was, down there 4 years old. And, coming into the NBA, I just had a dream to play ball at a high level.
I'm not, some sort of anti-vax flat earther. I am somebody who's a critical thinker. You guys know me. I march to the beat of my own drum. I believe strongly in bodily autonomy and the ability to make choices for your body, not to have to acquiesce to some woke culture or crazed, group of individuals who say you have to do something. Health is not a one-size-fits-all for everybody. And for me, it involved a lot of study in the off-season, much like the study I put into hosting Jeopardy or the weekly study I put into playing the game. I put a lot of time and energy and research and met with a lot of different people in the medical field to get the most information about the vaccines before making a decision. And in actuality, it was pretty easy in the beginning to eliminate two of them. And it didn't involve going into the questionable history of some of their criminal activities and fraud cases or any of that stuff. It was simply the fact that I have an allergy to an ingredient that's in the mRNA vaccines.
I didn't anticipate all this coming with it. But if I am going to be responsible for my own life, then I got to speak on things that truly matter to me. I had to stop running away from using my voice and using my platform to, speak on what's true and what's mine. Nobody's going to hijack my voice. Nobody's going to take, the power away from me that I have for speaking on these things, and don't believe that I'm retiring. Don't believe that, I'm going to give up this game for a vaccine mandate or staying unvaccinated. Don't believe any of that shit, man. Like really be aware of what's being said before I even get a chance to be on the podium and speak for myself.
So on the CDC's own website, it says, should you have an allergy to any of the ingredients, you should not get one of the mRNA vaccines. So those two were out already. So my only option was Johnson & Johnson. At this time, in the early spring, I had heard of multiple people who had had adverse events around getting the J&J. Nothing that was no deaths or anything, but just some really difficult times and physical abnormalities around the J&J shot. And then in mid-April, the J&J shot got pulled for clotting issues, if you remember that, right? So the J&J shot was not even an option at that point. So then my options became, okay, what can I do to protect myself and my teammates if there's not one of the big three options for me in my own body? And so I looked into and talked again to a lot of medical individuals and professionals, and found that there was an immunization protocol that I could go to best protect myself and my teammates. And it was a long-term protocol that involved multiple months. And I'm very proud of the research that went into that, and the individuals that I met with, and we felt like it was what was best for me.
I'm always going to stay true to me, and that's me. This is my life. I get to do whatever I want with this. This is one body that I get here, one God body that I get here. And you telling me what to do with my body, and it has nothing to do with the organization. I'm going to put that out there. It has nothing to do with the Nets. It has nothing to do with my teammates. This has everything to do with what's going on in our world. And I'm being grouped in to something that's bigger than just a game of basketball. And, you got that fandom, which is like a religion to people out here. Basketball is like a religion. Entertainment is like a religion to people. They get so caught up emotionally. It's just like, yo, effing get vaccinated or just leave. We angry at what you're doing, man. And it's just like, nah, that's like, what are you talking about? I'm a human being. I have emotions. I have feelings. I have thoughts, things that I keep to myself, things that I share. But I'm staying grounded in what I believe in. It's just as simple as that. It's not about being anti-vax or about being, on one side or the other. It's just really about being true to what feels good for me. I'm still uncertain about a lot of things and that's okay. If I'm going to be demonized for having more questions and taking my time to make a decision with my life, then that's just what it is.
I really felt like at the time there was a time and a place for sharing of information. It was such a witch hunt. They wanted to out and shame and denigrate every single person who didn't immediately say, oh yeah, I got the Pfizer, I got the Moderna, whatever. I wanted it to go away. Everyone in the squad knew I was not vaccinated. Everyone in the organization knew I wasn't vaccinated. I wasn't hiding it from anybody. I was trying to minimize and mitigate having to have this conversation that would go on and on. And there were people in the media who somehow found out about it and been sitting on it for a couple months. So it wasn't like this thing was just hidden until this week. Like, people knew it and they sat on it. At some point I knew I was going to have to discuss it. And, I was ready to discuss it. But the problem with this is it is so political. And health should not be political. It shouldn't be that, Trump endorsed ivermectin and HCQ, and so take that shit off, it doesn't work. In general, I think we all should have been a little hesitant. When Trump in 2020 was championing these vaccines that were coming so quick, what did the left say? And I'm talking about every member of the left. Don't trust the vaccine. Don't get the vaccine. You're going to die from the vaccine. And then what happened? Biden wins and everything flips. Shouldn't that initially give you a little bit of pause and go, hold on a second. Isn't this shit about health and not about politics? And to that point, has any member of the health staff this entire time got up and actually talked about real health? Have they talked about exercise, a healthy diet, like eating real food, drinking water, taking vitamins, vitamin D deficiency, and what that causes in the body. No, there hasn't been any of that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all these people saying all these things about what's going on with me, and it's just not true. Pay attention to what's going on out in the real world. You know, people are losing their jobs to these mandates. People are having to make choices with their own lives, which I respect. You know, and I don't want to sit here and play on people's emotions either. Just use logic. You know, what would you do? You know, if you felt uncomfortable going into the season when you were promised that you would have exemptions, or that you didn't have to be forced to get the vaccine. You know, this wasn't an issue before the season started. This wasn't something that I foresaw coming, where I prepared for it. And, you know, I had a chance to strategize on what was going to be best for me and my family. I came into the season thinking that I was just going to be able to play ball, you know, be able to use my talent to continue to, you know, inspire, influence people in the right way. You know, like, putting this on me is just like, why are you putting it on me? You know, like, this is not part of, you know, what's going on in conversations with scientists, physicians, and doctors. I'm just a hooper, right? Like, I'm just a person who's being utilized as an example. For some odd reason, you know, people love to have my name in the mix of just some BS.
I think what we forget to talk about here, because, again, healing people, there's not a lot of money in it, but this is a pandemic of health, right? As much as it is, a virus which mutates, which we know mutates, and it's going to continue to mutate and mutate on and on and on. But it's a virus of health, and the most important thing would be educating people on how to live a healthier life. That's how we can beat any type of disease. Not putting a blanket over it with a vaccine, which creates a spike protein, which recognizes one specific strand of a virus, which is made to mutate. Like, how about we teach people how to be healthy? And until that is the conversation, and it's, it's nothing's going to happen. The conversation is going to be, that, I'm a, non-vaxxed person, and, then the non-vaxxed people, the right or whatever, is going to champion me, and the left is going to cancel me, and I'm...
No. Aaron.
And the whole time, I don't give a shit about either of them. Politics is a total sham. I'm not going to go on Fox News like I wouldn't go on CNN. I have zero desire to do any of that.
Yeah. Drought 3. Yeah. Bitch, I'm back on my Grizzy, young money, where you at? 2 tables and a mic, tell a DJ run it back. Bitch, I'm back on my Grizzy, young money, where you at? 2 tables and a mic, tell a DJ run it back. You ready now? Cut me up, Drew. Cut the music up, baby. Yeah, I'm going in. Bitch, I'm back on my Grizzy, young money, where you at? If you fuck with young money, where you at? Like the Energizer buddy with a battery pack. Boy, that chopper keep drumming like barada-da-da, or barra-ba-bum-bum. And I'm so young, but I'm a giant, like fee-fi-boo-fum. Just bought a new crib inside, so dumb. Got some money put away in case the hurricane come. I'm a fucking shame, huh? Yeah, I know. I go out the country to get all my clothes and my hoes. I go out my way just to get my dro and my dough, cause I love it more than I love my hoes. Yes, I do. I got gasoline coming out my pores. I'm a torch. I got glasses like that white boy Scott Storch and a Porsche. I got license for the scorch. Snipers at your porch, rifles by the forts, and we shoot up courts. The judge just a bitch, the jury suck dick. I'm a east side blood, and I don't smoke that crip. I smoke that kush. First name Bubba, first name Young, last name Stunner.